Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Point Forward, a Buffalo Sabres podcast. 3-1 series getting good. Maybe at the end tomorrow. We'll talk about that a lot more.
Acknowledge the fact that in one of your favorite movies of all time, you thought the slogan was "Ducks quack forever" instead of "Ducks fly together."
No,
it's
you also
bad.
think they live in wells. It's the whole theme of the movie, Lou. But he had the duck call.
They go quack.
It would be Malcolm Subban, mostly because that one season where instead of letting him play for the Sabres for the last game of the year, they had him sing the national anthem. And it was a real, you're under contract, the season is over. We know you've only gotten to be up here a couple of times. How about you come back up here? Oh, great, I'll put my pads in the car. No. You won't need them. Just make sure you warm up the pipes when you're driving down the 90.
Mitch Marner.
You heard it, Mitch. If you want to sign here, you can drill Ryan's mom.
Well, whoa, that was loud. Oh, you got the rally towel. I got two of them. I literally have two of them on my hutch right now. It's like the classiest thing I've ever done. They're just laid across my hutch. I got no candles or trinkets on it. It's just two Sabres flags. But I was there for both games. That means so much here to talk about. One, I think maybe I update the Open. I love that Open. Maybe update it for the playoffs. Change a little things. We would have to have the Brian Rust update on that. I think I told you guys the other day. I feel like every show I should have to open up with an apology about being that dumb earlier in the year when I said I wanted to trade Oslin a first and Jack Quinn for Brian Rust. I'm sorry. I said dumb things. I'll say a lot more dumb things, but I'm going to start off every show apologizing for that. If Ryan Mura follows right up behind me and apologizes for his hate of our boy, Peyton Krebs.
Listen, you know what? Maybe I was the catalyst to why he turned his season around. He just needed a little fire under the ass. But yes, I will fully admit he is playing well, well deserving of all the praise he's getting. He has been excellent. So yes, I'm willing to eat crow on that. As long as I get my credit for calling that there would be a blowout in the series, right? I knew there would be a blowout, and I knew the Sabres were going to do it, and there it was, game 4. Right from the first period. I mean, how often in a playoff game have you been able to, at the end of the first, not even at the end of the first, just exhale, right? And you're already chalking this up as a win and wondering what when you're going to clinch. So, I mean, how fun was that, guys? I mean, that was just a beautiful game.
Well, as the only person on this podcast who doesn't have to apologize for anything, because I've only been 100% correct on here. No, I haven't. But that's very big of both of you. It really felt like there wasn't even the fear of the old Sabres coming back in the second and third. Not that it couldn't have happened, but legitimately that fourth goal goes in, and just the reaction of all the Bruins players and Swayman diving all over and calling for goaltender interference on his own defenseman. It was just one of those, you feel almost indestructible. The wheels can't come off of something like that, and it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I felt that, I mean, not to take away from Ryan's proclamation at all. I did feel that game coming. I just thought we've been the much better team besides one period. I mean, the second period of the second game, they got outplayed pretty bad. But I thought that first period of that second game, we cut off right before the second game. We haven't talked about it. But that first period I thought was evenly matched. The second period, they got dominated. And then the third period, that last 10 minutes was, them bombshelling them. Not that they weren't just kind of playing retreat, but, they played one bad period. So I felt a big game coming and the possibility of a blowout yesterday. And, it was just never in doubt. I mean, that first period, Lindy said it. They all, a couple guys mentioned it. That was their best period of the year, probably. I mean, it was great.
And to Chris's point, what made me feel good about it was that they continued to just come at the Bruins. I mean, Swayman played pretty well. And to be honest with you, like, I can understand why when he gets to the bench, he's screaming at his teammates because they just didn't show up. And they kind of have been sleepwalking through, I mean, I guess it was just the last game because otherwise I think they've been putting up a good effort. But I think the Sabres are the better team. I think when they're firing on all cylinders, it's going to look more like it looked yesterday. And whether it's in 5, 6, or 7, I can't imagine the Sabres losing, 3 in a row here. So I'd love for it to be obviously game 5 tomorrow, taking care of business. But I know Louis, you and I also might have a ulterior motive for hoping it to go 7 because we would get to go. I honestly, I don't even want that. I don't want
No,
the stress.
I was just gonna say
I'm
I'm kind of the opposite. I was just gonna say we would have game 7 tickets, but like bank the money, right? Like I don't need that stress, 1, but 2, okay, we don't have to pay that money. What do we got next game? Maybe I could get into 2 games next round because I just saved, my loot. So I don't need a game 7 for the excitement. Trust me. I'm too old. My blood pressure's just got back to normal. I ain't fucking with that shit.
That's 10 best ball mania drafts if you do the math. So
we're gonna start that tonight. I hope you're ready for one right after. I've already done one today. Sorry, we're going off on a thing here. Biggest moment, I guess, here in the last 3 games, whether it be good, bad, or I guess this is obvious. I was going to ask you guys this question, but let me not. We'll start here, and then you could answer it a second way. But obviously, the biggest thing here is the switch to Lion. Here since we've last been on the thing, obviously the right call, and I don't even think anybody was really questioning it, even when it happened. Obviously, 2020 in hindsight, it looks great because it's worked out. But how did you feel about the call originally? I feel like everybody probably was on board, but I don't think UPL's done. I think UPL plays games. I think this runs until maybe even Lion loses a game and they might switch it. I don't think UPL's done. What are your thoughts? I'll start with you, Chris.
I mean, that was the early part of the goaltender tandem before they started just going to the back and forth, give a guy an off night thing. That was the early formula from like the beginning of the streak was, Lion kind of got in there for most of them until he got hurt. But before that, it was like, if a guy wins a game, he starts the next game. And if he loses that one, then we go to the next guy. So the blueprint is there for a way that they've done it this season. I don't think it was a bad call. It definitely, UPL was lights out in that first period of game 2. He seemed locked in. And then that second period, the wheels fell off the team. And that's kind of been his MO for his career here, is he gets in his head when something goofy happens, and that bounce over the glove just kind of ended his run, but I could see him getting back into the lineup. Even at the start of a fresh series, seeing how practices go. I don't think Lindy's either one of these guys necessarily.
Right.
First, I do want to give some credit to Lindy, and I know you both have as well, but it was, not, I guess, an obvious decision. It was considered, I guess it was possible, but to have the courage, I do think it takes some courage in that locker room to make a switch and then to take a stand and say, we're going to go with Alex for game 3. And that was such a swing game. That's such an important game in a 1-1 series. So credit to Lindy. He really seems to have his finger on the pulse of this team. He also seems to be very relaxed and enjoying this in a way that I haven't really seen him before. So I think Lyon has given this team kind of like a newfound energy, so to speak, right? Like an attitude, right? He's jawing at some of the guys on the ice. He has kind of a different swagger to him than UPL, who's more quiet. So I think they're going to ride Lyon as long as they get these performances out of him. And even if he has a slip up, I'm not sure they're going to pull the trigger and go right back to UPL. Obviously in this series, I think Lyon has kind of earned the right to maybe close it out, right? Even with a bad game, let's say in 5 or 6, right? So, and just maybe perhaps a transition here. If that was the biggest story, the second biggest story has been Osland and the revelation he's been coming back, getting bigger minutes, obviously his play on the power play. And just one thing I noticed was, with him, he doesn't do anything, exceptionally. I mean, he's such a good puck mover. He's a great skater, but he does everything. He's like a half second quicker than some of the other guys out there and getting these passes on tape to tape. And I felt like that made all the difference.
Chris, any follow-up?
I have to agree with that Osland take. I mean, we mentioned it in the group chat. It's that first game back. He gets that assist. He gets that empty netter. That is purely work. He doesn't look like a guy. He doesn't look like a guy who's playing in his first NHL playoffs. He doesn't look like a guy who missed a month of playing time before that. He stepped in seamlessly and gave the kind of jolt that they needed to kind of find their game back in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I didn't love him in 4. I mean, he didn't have any shots on that. He actually had a couple opportunities where he passed. I think I just want to see him shooting a little bit better. Obviously, in game 3, he might have been the best player on the ice. He was just incredible. Just trying a little bit too hard to create plays sometimes, I think. And it's so funny. This, I guess, I transferring right to the next subject. It's so fun to think about Helenius getting in this lineup at some point and playing with him and Doan and that line. When that line was going, that few games when Helenius was up, man, that is just so exciting. And I know Lindy would probably never do it against Tampa. I think he would do it against Montreal. I don't think he would want to put him in. Lindy's going to want to be tough, I think, for Tampa. But Montreal, I think that could honestly happen. Thoughts on where or how they might use things?
To me, Lindy is not afraid of having a kid line. He's had it before in important games. So I wouldn't be surprised if Helenius shows that he's worthy. He'll stick. The player to me that stands out right now that needs replacing is Greenway. He just doesn't seem to fit what we're doing. And I know, fourth line, it's tough ever since Carrick went down. It was good to see him walking around at least in a suit, right? I mean, he's alive. I guess that's good. I guess I'm not holding out
No
too much
sling.
hope he's going to be. Yeah, right. I'm not holding out too much hope he's going to be back for the rest of the series, but I do think you can, if there's anything to critique, it's maybe the effectiveness of that fourth line outside of, Malenstein.
The only thing I'll say about that is if you take Greenway out for a guy like Helenius, let's just say, you don't have a piece to put back on that fourth line outside of Krebs, and they're not moving Krebs off that line. That's just going too good. So now you're putting Benny on the fourth line, And maybe Benny fits there, but he's even shown a little bit of offensive pop here. He's scrappy. He would hit with those guys, but I think he's maybe a little too good to be on the fourth line. So I just think that's why Greenway will stick. And even then, like if a Hellenis came in, they would probably just move Greenway to center and take out a Kozak or a Dunn, whichever one of those pylons are playing at the time. And, I think Greenway's been fine, to be honest. And he's too good of a penalty killer. I think that they love that. I mean, that's when talking about these back end spots, when we talked about this before the playoffs of like those back end forwards and the Metza Timmins and Kesserling thing was who's somebody that does something exceptional. They're all kind of even, but who does something exceptional? And Greenway and Timmins, I think, win out because they penalty kill exceptionally. And right now, we're out. Our power play is going. We absolutely need exceptional. Greenway got some power play time.
Greenway exceptional on penalty kill. You said you're saying
exceptional.
I don't think so. Chris, where do you come down on that?
I don't think he's gone.
I wouldn't say exceptional. I think he's a strong penalty killer, and he's given your upper end guys a chance to rest. So you're not killing a McLeod or Tuck on the penalty kill by making them be out there for almost the full 2 minutes, but I wouldn't necessarily say exceptional. I will say what I've noticed most about him this series is that little bit of speed he was showing during his last return, the last week and a half of the season, he does not have it anymore. He looks out of place on what that fourth line tries to do.
Yes, and just quickly, Louis, I know you're going to counter this. Let me just add one more thing. To me, the thing is that line can generate some offense. You see it. That they have some scoring opportunities, and whenever the puck gets to Greenway, it's like a black hole. It just disappears. And I'm like, I don't want that to be the case. I feel like, even Kozak, when he stepped in, I feel like he can move the puck well, and then you have Malenstein speed. I just want somebody else in that spot, to get a different look. And I understand, he's probably on skill level. He's probably better than whoever he might be replacing, but not Hellenis. And, I'd rather get a look there and then maybe pull Benny down and see if he can't help out. But I understand your point, Louis. You're probably right in the sense that that's what Lindy's going to do. He's going to keep Greenway in. I don't think he's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we play Miami, if we play Montreal, and two way different cities, both expensive. But if we play Montreal, they are, and you're playing in a scoring race, sure, maybe that happens. But I think against Tampa, Lindy is good. The only thing that I like is they seem to very much adjust after game 2. I think this was a dick swinging match. The first 2 games, they were trying to prove that they were tough or something, or as tough because the whole Marco Sturm thing. And then it was game 3, they just started playing their game. And who cares? I don't care if you got more hits. Cool. That was really cool game 1. I'm glad you went and threw the body around. But that's not your game. Go out and skate faster than the other team because you're faster than most of them.
Yeah. You're playing an older, slower team with an elite playoff goalie. Swayman has been fantastic. But the best way to beat a team like this is to get into that third period and make the goaltender be on his own. That game 3, the way they just wore them down, by the end of the second, that Boston defensive core was done. That last 5 minutes of the second period, they couldn't get it clear. They couldn't skate it out of the zone. And even though the Sabres were, I think it was tied by the end of the second, it was this game's a wrap. They're just, as long as they just keep forechecking, they're going to break through Swayman eventually. And I think that's what they just have to keep doing with this.
And for me, it was the way that they were generating the scoring chances. They're getting him moving. They're generating screens in front of the net and tipping the puck. It's smart. They're scoring playoff goals, right? I mean, I don't know. it's they're clicking on all cylinders. Guys like Jason Zucker under the radar, playing so well. I mean, there's these role players. It feels like, playoff experience be damned. I mean, I think they have plenty of guys in that locker room that, are able to get the job done, up and down the lineup.
This is what happens when I don't send a show sheet, because maybe I walk or we argue about this. Then I was going to bring up how bad Jason Zucker's been and how he's just disappeared. He's absolutely disappeared. He's that line is struggling now.
Are you watching this on an old CRT TV where you can't read the numbers?
No.
Yeah, what are you talking about,
like
dude?
One of 3 Sabres without a point, and that doesn't mean anything. I gave him the compliment on the first game, the Samuelson goal with a great screen. Like, things he does are things that you don't see on a score sheet. He has. Do you know how many points he has in his career? All right, let's start here. What's his best amount of points in any playoff year in his whole career? Guess. Anybody. The most he's ever had in one playoff season.
I'll answer it. I'll answer it to entertain you. But what does this have to do with whether he's playing well in this series?
Again, well, one, I'm just saying he has not. And then the reason why I went back is to look was because of how bad he's been these last 3 games. He was.
You know who would make an even better partner on that Quinn line with McLeod? Brian Rust.
He would actually.
Wait a second, but wasn't Zucker the one in Game 3 that actually screened? Wasn't it in Game 3 that he screened Swayman for the go-ahead goal?
I know he did in 1. Goal. I don't think in Game 3 he had, and I mentioned on this podcast, I mentioned how good it was and how no one noticed it. So I gave him his credit. He has been really bad the last 3 games, and that line, which was the most consistent line on the team for 3 months, is not looking good. No one could look at that and say that line has been good. They've been the worst line of the 4.
This is your fantasy football brain is kicking in too much right now with all these drafts that you're doing, because you're thinking about score sheet. You're not thinking that a line holding the puck in the offensive zone for 2 minutes when they're trying to close out a 1-goal game is doing something to help the team.
Yeah, listen, you guys will probably remember I was suggesting around the trade deadline that maybe we consider trading Zucker for something, but I mean there's another one I've come around on. I feel like he's been a glue guy for the lineup. He's somebody, I think, even that if you're talking about moving somebody up and down the lineup, if you're trying to insulate Hellenius, or I'm messing up that name.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another guy that makes sense. So
sure. I mean, anything.
And Quinn's resurgence too, I think, is not totally unrelated to Zucker. I feel like he's been a big person.
Oh, I think so too. And that line was going great for 3 months. It's been 3 bad games. I'm not sitting here and overreacting. I'm just saying he's disappeared.
Sure seems like it. That's what I see.
Well, again, now he's had 3 bad games, 1 good game, and so I go down this rabbit hole of, is he a playoff performer? Has he ever been? Now I ask you again, what is the most amount of points he's ever had in 1 playoff year?
I told you
lots
5.
of playoffs.
I don't
Minnesota,
care.
Pittsburgh.
All right, I'll say 13.
What was yours, Chris?
5. I don't care. This game is dumb.
3. He has never had more than 3 points. He's played in 58 playoff games and had 18 points. That's insanely bad. It's just for the type of player he is. He's a 0.6 point per game career player in the regular season. So it's different. Whatever. I'm just pointing it out. You guys will be watching more. Every text I'll be sending this next week will be Zucker related. But all right. The most important question of the podcast is who's banging the drum for Game 5.
Brad Boyes.
You're still playing the Brad Boys bit.
Relieve the power play curse.
That might do it. You're right. He's still the last. He's not the last guy to score a goal anymore, but he is the last guy to score a power play goal in the playoffs. That's that would be a good way to break the curse. Rye, thoughts?
They've done the Bills thing. They're not going to do another Bills player, even though maybe Skylar Bell, right? Because he's talking about how he's a hockey fan. I'll say it's going to be a Bandits player, John Tavares, coach John Tavares.
God, that would be so horrible. I think the obvious one, yeah. I know they have a diehard fans, but not all those people are Sabres fans. I don't know. Here, when you hear mine, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm done. So the obvious one's Brad May. That's pretty obvious. The whole Mayday thing. I like that a lot. But now, how cool would the Blade Gang be? That'd be pretty sweet. I think everybody would go more nuts about the Blade Gang right now. They haven't soured yet on me. The gimmick will run out for me, but right now I think it's so awesome. And these kids are great. They're just in Boston, just going through the garden, literally going to the mall, wearing Sabres jerseys and rollerblading. Those kids are awesome. I want to commit. I did try to get them on the pod today. None of them DM'd me back. Only 2 had DMs. I don't think they read it. I didn't get a read notification. I'm getting ghosted by the Blade Gang. It's hurtful, That would be cool. Those kids are cool. I think everyone's kind of piling on the whole story. They got the whole. I mean, they were on Spittin' Chicklets the other day, and I was like, "Hey, you want to come on from this point forward?" It's funny, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll when they DM me, they'll come on next week. Brad May makes a lot of sense, though. I think that would be a good one. Chris is not going to stop saying Brad Boys until we score a power play goal, so we might have a few more episodes. How poetic justice was that they scored a half a second after.
Relieve the curse.
How great was that the half a second was insane.
It should count.
You have to figure Ryan Miller comes
They only
back
had 4 players on the ice.
Yeah. No, I 2 things. Wait, I will answer both your questions. Yes, Ryan, I do think Ryan Miller comes back for one of the Bang the Drums for sure. I don't know if it's yet. For Carolina, it better be. If we play Carolina in the finals, Jay McKee better get one of them. That's all I know. He does it with a prosthetic leg.
No, you know what he should do? He's like that wrestler that's in the wheelchair and then he lifts the blanket off. It's the staph infection leg.
I was going to say he should hit the drum with the shin guard that caused the infection. He's still got it.
Yeah, for sure. That's really funny. And Chris, you're right. I did not want them to get. I was so happy that it didn't go just for the bit. I wanted it to continue because I don't want anything to help Appert. I don't let him find a way to win the Stanley Cup without scoring 1 power play goal. So maybe this organization finally lets go this fucking loser.
Wow. Well, you know what? I have a theory on
me though, because I would need a new person to bang the drum. I got nobody else.
I have an unconventional theory as to why they lost game 2. Did you guys notice that there was no tooth from the rafters? What was up with that?
Yeah.
Why? Because we have Josh Allen banging the drum. Were you worried that he's going to land on Josh or something? What was up? I mean, I noticed that right from the start. And to be honest, I couldn't get it out of my head, so I can't imagine the players were able to think through it.
I also didn't love that they didn't show the intro video again.
Yes.
I didn't want to cry again, but I don't think I would have cried the second time. I think I was fine. I think I was recovered, and it still should be played like the original Better Days song every game. I mean, this one was kind of the intro to game 2, maybe it was because I didn't have tears to wipe off, was much more lackluster. Don't you both agree? We were all at the whole game. Just play the fucking better days. I just want the whole. All I want is it got so close to game 1, you could hear it, but you just got to get to a point where, like, by like the second round, the audio people could just lower the audio on it, and just everybody's singing better days. Like, that's all I want. I want a new bright side.
And better idea. Remember in the old days, they used to have those like personalized, like RJ would narrate like a monologue talking about like what happened in the previous game and you know what's leading into game. Like, why don't they do something like that? I mean, come on, you can't put something through Chat GPT and AI, a video here for us, you know, every game. I mean, come on, you got a couple of days to spare. I mean, give me a new video every game.
I'm with you. It's the only Sabres thing we haven't hit. Josh Norris. It sounds like he's going to be back, which would be nice to get, done or whatever out of the lineup. But then you're presented the same problem. Really, is now Alston's played so good that like if Norris comes back, where does he even slot? You know, I mean. I don't know where he slots. Is he the fourth line center? Is he back?
I'd let him for a game. He's not 100. If he's not 100%,
let him play fourth line minutes, and then maybe
let him play fourth line minutes.
And maybe he, just stays a power play specialist. I guess.
I think it gives you a better. If something goes wrong, a better shuffling option. Then if he's ready to play, then having to resort to bumping up a Kozak to a center, or I just think put him on the fourth line. Who cares?
Yep, I agree. I also think that, especially given his injury history, I mean, this doesn't seem to be something that, is likely to linger, but they're probably going to want to insulate him a little bit here and just get out of this series, because the sooner you get out of the series, the longer you can rest. I mean, you kind of want Tampa and Montreal to go 7. It was good, I think, that yesterday Tampa was able to tie that series up, because I just want them to beat the hell out of each other. And so far, that's exactly what's happening.
I got off the phone with Stacey Perez, our friend who has been on our other podcast a couple times, fantasy football player. And if we play Tampa next round, I think I'm going down to Tampa, hang out with Stace, go to a game, and hopefully probably get tickets cheaper than here. But let's go into the other series, because I would definitely not get out of this podcast without it, seeing that I'm pretty much nailing all my predictions. But let's start with that series. That's been obviously we would think one of the better matchups, and it's kind of lived up to the hype. Thoughts on here, what has now become a 3-game series, Chris?
Beautiful. Love to see it. They're beating the shit out of each other. It's tough, gritty playoff hockey. I'm happy they're playing each other in the first round. It's entertaining games. I have no real dog in the fight. I have no real preference for what happens going forward. So I really don't. We talked about it during the playoff seeding stuff. I don't play into that game who would be better, who would just go out and win the games. But I'm enjoying watching them beat the shit out of each other.
Right. Also, do you have a dog in the fight? Because I do have an answer to that.
So when you asked me this, or when we talked about this last week, I was more worried to play Montreal. And I think that mostly remains true. The only hiccup there is that Tampa is just one of those teams that, it's like Boston of old, right? Where sometimes it doesn't even make sense, but they just win because they have the track record and they have the past, the history. They know how to get it done. So there's still a little bit of that in there, but I do still think when I'm looking at those two teams, to me, the better team, the team that stands out, the team that looks more dangerous, is Montreal. And whereas Tampa would want to play that physical game like Boston, Montreal is kind of like like the Sabres looking in the mirror, so to speak, right? You're both going to play that run and gun game where you're both going to try to win with speed. Now, I'm not saying that's going to work to your disadvantage. I'm just kind of observing the styles of play. What do you think, Louis?
Yeah, I'm one. The series has been incredible. I think the way Montreal lost yesterday might be the big factor here. The confidence level, maybe if it gets carried over. I rather play Tampa Bay. I do think they're going to win the series. The odds have kind of been on them, the Vegas odds, in like weird spots, even when they were down 2-1. It didn't they were a heavy favorite to win the game and still like very, very close to win the series. Their odds from the beginning of the year to win not beginning of the year, beginning of the playoffs to win the cup and win the East were like super high. I just think that Montreal is a really, really good team. I think that they just are going to lose the battle of maybe a 7-game series because of just the type of game Tampa plays. But I just think, not that Montreal is not very similar to us. And so why should I be that confident if Montreal can't do it? I think we're even faster than Montreal. When you're talking all 4 lines and you're talking everybody, and we're much better defensively. I don't know. I think we'll smoke Tampa too. I really do. I'm not worried about Tampa. I'd be worried about Montreal. I'd be worried about the fact that you lose a little bit of your home ice advantage. They'll be here in droves. You might think that Sabres fans are going to keep them out. They'll still be 30-40%,
Can we talk about the fact that the Sabres are up 3-1 against the Bruins when Rasmus Dahlin has been no better than their third best defenseman? That's probably being generous. Byram's been elite. Samuelson's done the small things. I guess I'll put Dahlin next. But maybe, but you're going to put Stanley, or you're going to put Power?
Power's been great. Power's been great.
I know. Dahlin has really not been good. No. And I don't know what it is where it's almost like he doesn't have that same confidence. Remember when he was playing for Kruger and he just he wasn't going out there with that same sort of confidence that he was going to just impact the play. He's playing timid. He's playing hesitant right now. And he's trying to get himself going, I feel like, with this mean streak thing. And it's just throwing him off his game. I just have been very surprised that for 4 games, he's been pretty much non-existent in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's been probably the biggest disappointment. Considering it's not like he's playing at that bad of a level. It's just when you're considering what you need your captain to be, and who that player is. He's lucky, I think, that we're lucky that Byram and Power have played the way that they have as a pair. They've been incredible, and that's that. I'll give Byram, the more credit if everybody wants to, because everybody hates Power, but Power's been really, really good right next to him. That pairing saved this team defensively. Chris, I didn't know if you were.
No, I'm with you on Byram, especially. Has been a delight, a guy who I have always kind of thought was expendable from this team. Power's been incredible, and Samuelson, I think, because of the year that he's had, people might have expected a little bit more from him, but he's playing like the defenseman we thought he was going to be when he first got that contract extension in these playoffs. And if that's all he does for the entire playoffs, if his job is to just stick to the top offensive player of the other team and just hassle him all game and he's effective at it, I'm fine with it. Dahlin's been a bit of a bummer because he's been at best fine in games, and you just want a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I expect that to happen here soon. I think they're beating him up a little bit. Obviously, we didn't even talk about that. we could, I guess, spend a minute on it with the opinion. I didn't think it was suspendable, to be honest, on the playoffs. I'm fine that he got the max fine, but honestly, I mean, I know this is, I said this, and then I think Bulldog said it today on the radio, so I know it's going to be his take because I don't think I said it publicly first, but maybe I said it to you guys. I'm like, do we even want Zadorov suspended? I mean, he sucks. He might take another dumb penalty next game because he's mad. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't need him to be suspended, but also, I really didn't think it was a suspendable offense. It was a cheap shot, sure. It's the fucking playoffs, man. I do want him. I get not wanting to be hurt. I want him to be a little bit tougher, just a touch. I want him to. He runs away from the shit pretty quick.
I honestly just, I mean, I want there to be justice. I want, all of that. But truthfully, I just want to get in these games and take care of business. I want them to make it count on the scoreboard. I just want to get out of this series. I don't want it to go, long because I want them to have a little bit of rest. Not too much rest, but a little bit of rest would be nice. And that's it. I don't need them to get into this game with Boston. I just want them to continue to take care of business. That's why with a player like Rasmus Dahlin not looking his best, I'm actually a little bit inspired with the way that they're still playing, because if he is unlocked and you have another element to your game, I mean, there's more scoring, there's additional scoring in the lineup. So.
Sure. Let me just kind of switch back through the playoffs here. I know we got off rail there, but so that we'll talk about, I'll kind of bounce back and forth. Let's go out west to the one I think Chris and I nailed pretty good with the how we predicted it going. Although I don't think either of us predicted a 3-1 series lead right now, but Anaheim and Edmonton has been easily the most fun hockey of it. Like, and I've stayed up for it. I've watched every minute of the series. I've just been lucky enough to have, had something going on each of those nights, schoolwork, something like that, where I've stayed up with it in the background. And man, what a hockey series! Surprising, Anaheim's up 3-1. I don't think anyone's thinking that was going to happen, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, we make the joke about river hockey with the Sabres. You want river hockey, baby. That's the series. It's even yesterday, another quote unquote low scoring affair ending 4-3 in overtime. But most of that game was just odd man rushes back and forth. Surprised at the 3-1 a little bit, but I think when we did our 2-man preview, we were talking about how Anaheim is a dangerous team, and they are fun to watch. Two teams with minimal defense, barely any goaltending. Let's go.
Well, Wayne Gretzky was traded. LeBron James left Cleveland twice, and MJ played for the Wizards. Okay, so Connor McDavid is one game away from saying, I'm out of here. All right. Yeah, it's an ultimatum. You either trade me now or I walk at the end of this contract and you get nothing. You line up the pieces. Oslin, Quinn in a first.
There it is, baby. There it is, baby. That's the offer. Same player as Brian Russ. I love it. That is, yeah, we'll bring it back. I mean,
no joke. I'm half kidding because this has been a bit for a while, but it is not
go somewhere. He's going to go
it's
somewhere.
Not out of the realm of possibility, right? He's probably out of there.
Yeah,
it's going to get broken up.
Yeah.
What about how crazy? I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we got a lot of fun hockey here in Buffalo. But how crazy would it be if this offseason saw trades of Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid? It's fucking stupid to even think the two. The best thing is them fucking trying to set up some NBA type thing, get into the same roster. Oh my God, that would be insane.
And just like in typical NHL fashion, the best we're gonna get is like a Josh Dunn trade, though. Like, we're not gonna get anything close to that.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I think McDavid might go somewhere. I don't think they're dead there yet, though. In that series, I just think he's got another level. He has not been good. I mean, like I said, I watched 4 games. The first 2 games, he has not been good. The last 2 better, but he's not himself. I don't know if he's, lingering injury or something, but he definitely doesn't look himself. I just think he has another level. Draisaitl now 5 games back from the injury. He really hasn't been lighting up the score sheet. I mean, all their scoring's been secondary. Kapanen, Podzokin, the top guys have not been putting the puck in the net. So I think they have another level, and I think they could claw their way back into the series, but fun hockey.
And of course, just like Oilers of the past, it's the goaltending that they can't get again. I mean, two games in a row of giving up 7 goals. I mean, come on, let's go.
The Colorado series went exactly the way we expected. Sweep, I think I said 5 games, but I mean, that was no one's surprise that they handled business there. I mean, I guess I was a little surprised at just how easily it came.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it maybe in the last podcast, or at least in front of each other. But Kings gave game 1 like their best game, and still kind of it was a close game, but it still wasn't close when you think about it. And that was, you knew that was like the best they had, so you knew they were up against it. Carolina with Ottawa surprised me, but I do think those games are at least kind of close. Game 1 could have went either way. Obviously, game 3 goes to the OT. Was it game 3? Whatever. But I mean, that series seemed close. Carolina just won 4 close games. Your thoughts on that series, Chris?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talked about that. They're essentially the same team. It could have been a sweep. It could have been 7 games, but they were all going to be, 3-2s, 2-1s, 2 top heavy teams with solid playoff goaltenders. Freddie Anderson, what a playoff performer. I don't know what he does during the regular season, but I know once late April hits, he puts on his Marty Brodeur pads and goes out there. Good series, but, a little surprising at the sweep, but not at the same time.
Whereas Carolina, I think, can get away with one of their top players not performing. Ottawa cannot. So when Brady Tkachuk has no points in 4 games, you're just not going to recover from that. You need him to be affecting the play on the score sheet and, off the score sheet. And he just kind of did neither during the series. So that was it to me. That was the big difference maker.
But remember that fight he got in to start the playoffs?
It set the tone.
Great.
Really,
yeah.
Momentum.
I can't. We will talk the other series. I know we're bouncing back and forth because of my ADHD, but we did not talk about this. We can't talk about a fight and not talk about the possibility. This taxi squad's coming up from Rochester here any day, guys. Just to hang out, be ready for playoff hockey. Could we be in line for the return of Mason Gertston? You want to replace Jordan Greenway? There you got it. You got a big guy. Could be. I mean, come on, dude. Tampa, they
throw your G's up for the Geertz game.
Listen, Geertz gang.
Truly, I just want him to play 1 game in this entire playoffs, and then when we go on to win the Stanley Cup, so that someday it can become some obscure trivia that who can you name all the Sabres that appeared in at least 1 game in their Stanley Cup run in 2026? Yeah, that's what I want.
We're doing it on the pod in 1 year and we can't remember. and he's our favorite player. All right, let me go back to the place. I predicted in the series that nobody gives a shit about. I predicted a win for Philly, and now it was looking good.
Getting a little tight.
Pittsburgh 2 in a row now. They'll have to go back to Philly and win here, right? That was so maybe Philly closes out here, but scared now for the Flyers, Rye?
Nope. I think they take care of business in game 6 and win 4-2. I still feel like every time I'm watching that game, those games, I just feel like Philly's the better team. They have the better talent, and They're not. Are they playing tonight or is it tomorrow?
It just ended.
It just ended.
Oh, so okay, that's
Pittsburgh
right.
won.
Sorry.
Pittsburgh won game 2. Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So I'll say in game 6 they're going to close it out. Philly.
Chris.
I mean, both of these teams suck. It would be more fun if the Flyers got through, so I'm hoping they close this out. If this goes to game 7, I worry about them. But I know Crosby went out earlier, but I wasn't watching the game since we've been recording. I don't know if he'll be back for game 6. Might cause a little strife in the Penguins lineup. Hopefully Philly takes advantage of it and wraps things up in 6.
Carolina could win their first 8 games in the playoffs. I mean, whoever wins that series, they could easily sweep. Those two teams suck. And yeah, Carolina but then they're going to be over-rested when the Sabres come. We're going to be raring to go. The series that I really wanted, and whatever, it's still really 3 games, but I really wanted, they're starting here now. I wanted to pick Utah. I think in 7 games. I think I wavered at the end and said I just got to give the experience to Vegas, but Plumer, they are who you said they are. They are just not that good of a hockey team. And Utah seems like they've been better every game.
Yeah, Utah's giving them a run right now. And, I don't know. I don't know if they can I hope they can keep it up. You watch Vegas and they're just not like for more than 3 minutes at a time, a good team. Sometimes it pays off, but in that 3 minutes of good hockey, if they don't put 2 in, it's not going to go well for them. I'm sticking with Utah here.
I think this last series is 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. I think all 3 of them are out west, but this Dallas-Minnesota series has proved to be that. They both have had 1 dominant game on each side, then 2 close games where they battled out. I think they are, I've said it multiple times, whoever wins the series will represent the West in the Stanley Cup. Thoughts on how it goes so far and any changes and how you saw it here with now a best of 3? Chris.
I think that in the East there are 4 teams that could still plausibly win the Stanley Cup, and in the West there are only 3, Colorado, and then the winner of Dallas, Minnesota. In my opinion, I don't believe that Vegas or Utah are serious contenders. I think whoever wins that series loses in the next round or in the conference finals.
Chris.
I agree. It feels like whoever takes game 7 of this, and it feels like it's just going to go that way. Like you said, we had the blowout one way, blowout the other way, and now we're in scrap mode. Another incredible series to watch. That last game was something else. One of them, it's a shame that one of them isn't going to get to play in the next round because they both should be.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, Tampa and Montreal too. I think it sucks for all 4 of those teams and their fan bases, but it doesn't for us. So I'm gonna shut up. We got one of the best matchups we could have gotten in the first round. I'm not gonna complain. Things finally went Buffalo's way. Score predictions tomorrow. You want to do that as we wrap up here, Chris? What do you think?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I'm a little nervous about this game. I just don't want him to I'm worried about how that ended with the Zadorov stuff. That's the only reason I wanted him suspended, so that it didn't carry over into this game. I'm hoping they lock in, stick to the plan. Close game. 4-2 with an empty netter Sabres. We wrap this thing up.
Right.
I agree that it's going to be a close game. Clinching games are always a little nerve wracking. The idea of them coming home too. I do feel like in some strange way, the team is a road team. They're better just for whatever reason. So it scares me a little bit,
No
but
40
I think,
thieves on the road.
right, exactly. That's a good point. Good point. So I'll say they take care of business 3-2. But yeah, I think Boston is not going to to come in here and look at like they did in Game 4. I expect a much tougher test, but I also expect the Sabres to be ready because look, this team they know what's at stake and they know that how great it would be to just sit back and watch the remaining 3 games over the course of 7 days of rest to see who you're playing next.
I think we're going to see another party. I think it's going to be another blowout. I think Boston's done mentally. The Swayman, screaming at his teammates on the way out. Zadorov with the cheap shot. Sturm getting out coached so badly. I think they're going to check out and 6-1 Sabres.
All right. Same score.
Same score. We'll see. We'll
Can't wait for
back.
your next apology.
My mushes are dying. I think even my luck has turned with the Sabres here, but we'll see. We will be back in 2 weeks unless we feel like we need to get on sooner. What would that be? If we felt like we needed to get on sooner, it would be the fact that they came back and won, right? That would be, but even that would be the next day, right? No, it would be next day. Yeah, I think that would be the only way I would say that we'd come back sooner, unless they.
Why don't we just see what happens?
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. They blow them out tomorrow. We're not jinxing anybody. It's over, done. Bring us on a 7-game series in Tampa, Montreal. Chris, you don't look. For Chris Plumer,
I
Ryan,
don't like you with confidence.
It is a different look. It is a different look. It's the first time in my life. Well, I'm gonna see how it rolls with Chris Plumer, Ryan Mira. I'm Louis G. We'll see you in 2 weeks or sooner. Go Sabres. Wave that flag.